Hi, I'm Danielle Garcia from Intuitive Angels. Welcome to my online series, Just Another Day at the Office, where I share with you my experiences as a medium, channel, and intuitive. Today, our episode is called A Lesson in Portals. Actually, I should change that to a hardcore lesson in portals. Now, this experience happened to me personally about, 5 or 6 years ago, shortly after I first moved to Vegas from San Diego. I awoke one night and I heard chanting going on over and over and over again. Now, being a medium, well, I heard this chanting, so, I sit up in bed a little bit, and I noticed here in my bedroom, in front of my bed, are a bunch of Native Americans chanting and dancing around. Not exactly what you expect to wake up to, but nonetheless, I kind of looked at them. They didn't really connect with me, give me any messages. I'm part Native American, so I thought, okay, maybe this is just another guide coming in. I checked my gut. I didn't feel like about an hour goes by, and Adam, my son, who was, he was like a year and a half, 2 years old. Well, no, he was under 2, so let's say 18 months, something like that. He comes into my room telling me that he's scared. I'm so tired by now, I'm like, oh honey, just climb in, it's fine. I put him in between my husband and I start trying to go back to sleep. And suddenly, my son is humming the same tune that these Indians were chanting. And I'm thinking, okay, that's a little odd. Well, time goes by, goes into the next day, something just feels off. And I just feel so completely drained. At first I'm thinking, okay, it's because I didn't sleep. I kept getting woken up. But the more I would go in and out of the bedroom, the more drained I felt. Now, my husband didn't sense any of this because he's just not open to those kinds of things. I sat in the bedroom on the floor and I started connecting with my guides. And the energy that I was feeling coming from the room was something I hadn't experienced before. Suddenly I hear one of my guides saying, "Portal." And I'm like, portal? What the heck is that? So, being the Google nerd that I am, I get online, I research it a little bit, and I'm like, well, what the heck do I do now? But I could tell that this energy was just somehow, honestly, it felt like it was sucking the life force out of me. Well, I had a friend come over who's really good at sensing energy. And I knew where this was coming from. And I didn't tell her anything. I just told her I wanted to check the room out. She goes around with her dowsing rods and she goes right over to where I sensed the portal was. And whoosh! Dowsing rods go flying open, circling around. Obviously, it's picking up on a lot of energy. So we're sitting there, we're thinking about it, and if you put your hand up to the wall, on the bottom part of the wall, it was a sucking type of energy. And if you put your hand up a little bit higher, it was a pushing energy, which was really strange to me. I had never experienced anything like that. And being an empath, I feel a lot of the energy that's going on. So some of this was actually making me dizzy and nauseous. We had this idea, hey, maybe if we hang like a comforter or put a pillow up there or something, maybe it'll shut it down or block it so I can get some sleep. So I'm standing up on a stool and I take my pillow and I put it over the top of where we sense the portal to be. All of a sudden, all the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and the whole room goes freezing cold, and something is pushing the pillow back towards me. Now, you could definitely sense that whatever was behind this portal didn't like that and was getting quite angry with us. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I decided, hey, let's just leave it alone for right now. Tried to sleep again, couldn't sleep in the room. Next morning, I think, maybe it's just a message for me. I didn't want to think about anything bad, anything evil, anything negative, nothing of the sort. Like, maybe there's just something in here. Something's trying to communicate with me. I'm Miss Helper. I want to help everyone and solve all the problems and all that good stuff. So, I decide to lay on the floor of my bedroom and meditate and consciously connect with that energy. Now, my daughter is very intuitive also. She wanted to be a part of this, and I wasn't thinking that it was anything bad. So I'm like, yeah, maybe the two of us together will pick up on something. So we're laying on my floor, meditating, connecting with this energy. And again, I just started feeling like that life force energy was just being sucked out of me. My daughter almost completely passed out from that. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't pick her up. It was me grabbing her by the arm and crawling out of my bedroom before I could come to. Now, looking back at it, I realized I was coming more from a place of my ego and my excitement. Ooh, paranormal stuff. Let's jump on in and figure out what that is. Now that I felt that physical experience, it definitely scared the hell out of me. I didn't want to go in my bedroom. I didn't want the kids in my bedroom. I didn't want my husband in the bedroom. But of course, he's not open to these things, so he wasn't affected. I start sleeping on the couch because I cannot deal with laying down and being in an unconscious state in that room. I can barely deal with it being in a conscious state. I call my teacher and I ask her to do a gut check, tap in and say, I think I've got a portal in my house. Can you tell me, do you sense that? And she said yes, and she directed me to a healer that does clearings and clears spaces in houses and was an expert in this portal closure stuff. So all brand new stuff to me. He couldn't come over right away, so I went like another, I think, 3 days with dealing with this. It became very frustrating to me. To me, my bedroom, that's my sanctuary. That's my personal space. How dare another energy come and open up in my house and leave me frightened and scared and on the couch. I mean, it was awful. Nobody likes sleeping on the couch. You want your bed, you want your blankie, you want your pillow. You want to be comfortable and relaxed. So, guy came out, closes the portal, energy feels great. Absolutely great and wonderful. I lay in there for the first time in many days, and I take like a 4-hour nap. And oh my gosh, I just felt relaxed. I was grateful. I was thankful to be back in my bed. It was just wonderful. Wasn't biting anybody's head off. It was great. Well, went to bed that night, and as I was saying my prayers, the TV started cracking. Now, I always sense energy in the room when the TV's cracking, especially when it's not on and it's unplugged. So that starts cracking. Bed starts feeling like it's shaking. And I can sense this entity there. And I'm like, here we go again. This is just ridiculous. Call up the healer guy. Next day, I'm like, look, it's open again. And again, he can't come over for a few days. And I'm like, this is just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. I know these things feed off of fear. Why this is happening, I'm not sure. But I'm done. I'm just completely done with it. It's like dealing with a bully. So I lay back down in bed that night, see my prayers, ask for angelic protection, calling in all my guides, all the light beings, all my loved ones, blah, 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 blah. Wake up about, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. And the TV's cracking and popping and the doors moving back and forth. And everything was freezing cold and I felt like I could not move. And I could sense this hideous thing above me. The only thing that I have to compare it to is one of the spirits in the movie Poltergeist. The big one, the huge one that was really stretchy and it was just like this huge face that was in the kid's closet. I had that right above me. This horrid looking entity, and he was roaring at me. His mouth was big enough to swallow my face. It was that intense. And I refused to play into the fear of it. I'm like, okay, God, let's go. Show me. Show me that light is stronger than darkness. I would not acknowledge that entity in my room that night, early morning, I guess. I closed my eyes, and I kept saying the same words over and over and over again. I am God. 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 The more I said those words and affirmed, the smaller this energy got. And the more powerful I became. Because it was connecting with that spark of God that's inside me, that's inside all of us. Bad things feed off of fear. Our fear makes them more powerful, makes them stronger. We give our power away whenever we're fearful. We got the portal closed. Never came back. It was closed the entire time I lived there. But I learned a wonderful lesson in my own power. That I am God. And I don't have to be afraid of anything. I hope that you realize how powerful you are.